I think, yeah. I'm sorry. Hi, Usha. I'm here.
Hi, Kuntal. How are you?
Good, good, good. Just thank you for the Central Book video. So we are Librarian Association in collaboration with Central Book. We get this sessions, and you saw about Central Book right now. So who we are? A very short brief. We are a group of passionate librarians who have started with Librarian Association few years back, and now we're collaborating. And our single goal is to upskill librarians and support our community by building the libraries across countries. So this, you can see that this is our website. People who know us and are part of our group, for them it's just a revision, and people who don't know us, please go on our website to find more about Librarian Association. So yes, today we have Miss Usha. I'll stop sharing over here. Just give me a minute. Today we have our speaker, who is Miss Usha, is one of the core member of Librarian Association. She's a part of Read Bloom Books, and which is one of a very active place for voice and choice of our students. So I won't take much time now. Usha, up to you. And yes, all yours.
Thank you, Kuntal. Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's really nice to see you all very good here on this Saturday evening, pushing all your personal schedules away for a meaningful production, learning, and sharing here. And I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to CBT book publishers who are doing a very good job and giving us a platform to share our knowledge and expertise in benefit of our other librarians. My heartfelt gratitude and tons of love to Librarian Association, who is being tirelessly and unwavering determination bringing such one wonderful series, of which one I admire is Library Excellence Talk series. I am very happy and feel proud to be among other librarians who shared here. So about me, I'm a librarian for 13 years in this field, work with different platforms of library. However, my lion's share of work experience or librarianship falls under school libraries. My passionate area is resource curation, hence we worked on this topic. We'll get into this presentation soon. Just let me know where you're able to see the presentation here.
It's viewable.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Usha. We can see.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. I have picked up the topic as Art of Resource Curation from Planning to Practice. Why I choose this as Art of Resource Curation? Because we do choose, collect, develop resources, but curation involves a lot of meticulous efforts to be done, and it has a lot of stages from planning to putting into action. Henceforth, it is like this. So once, right. So before I begin the session, I really would like to know each other, but in a very different way. You all established as a librarian from beginner to advanced librarians and expert in your field. Why don't you come up with an adjective along with your name, just like a smart XYZ or reflective XYZ, what that well describes you, along with the favorite book that have inspired you, which someone has gifted you or someone has chosen it for you. Please use this QR code to scan. It's a Padlet link which can take you to a different place. We have a lot of sections in this which we will be using throughout this session. So we'll take a minute and then we'll come back to this. Hope this link works for you.
Usha, if it's not scanned, it's fine if it's given in comments.
Yeah, they can give in comments. No problem.
Yeah. I mean, if it scanning becomes difficult, then.
Yeah, no worries. If they couldn't make it up, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Feel free to use a chat box that can be added here to see your responses here. Oh, talented Taranam, silent, smart Devi. Wow. Innovative Indra, responsible Hinda. I didn't find the favorite book that inspired you as well. If there is one. If you ask me, my favorite book that inspired me is Alchemist. Approachable Shilpa, you can win. Yes. Last lecture, Think Like a Monk. Wow. And please remember, you don't have to put it in the chat box, but please keep in your memories that who has gifted you this. We'll get back to this point and sometime later in the session. Reliable Rajendra. Wow. Tuesdays with Mori by Mitch. Resourceful Swarna. Life is what you make it pretty. Maheshweta. Wow. One of my favorite too. Sudhamurthy. Hardworking Diti. Lovely. She'll move into the next session. You can keep uploading the chat box. I'll be reading it out. Okay. Why do we think librarians struggle while curating resources? This is my question of inquiry, I would say, to answer to this. You can even put it into the chat box if in case if this QR code is not working with you well. We're all developing collections, then how is it different from resource curation, which something can reflect from your prior knowledge? Like you would have tried collection development, resource curation. You might face some challenges in that. What are those challenges do you think was interrupting in your resource development? What was actually causing a pause or a barricade that you cannot move further or you have to stop or go along with the flow? So that you can add it here and we'll proceed into the next. Multiple curriculums and out of my comfort zone. Feel free because nothing is going to be taken into a big discussion thing. It's all what we with budget does not match. Yes. Age appropriate because children are reading ahead of age. Budget friends, yes. So by the end of the session, let's see whether all these challenges are answered to make your life easy. If anything is left out, we will definitely address at the last. Different taste, right? All right. So others can just gather the points. We will move further. Take a moment to observe this picture. Let me know, you can open your mic and speak if you want. What you see in this picture, what do you think the picture is all about? It's a compilation of 6 different pics put up here together. If you're using the chat, that's also fine.
It shows the different modes of learning.
Different modes of learning. Okay, great.
I think the power of reading can be felt everywhere, Usha. Whether it's outside a park, maybe it's inside. So that's what I felt.
Great. Okay, what one wonder question that immediately pops in mind while you look into this collage of pictures? One wonder question. It can be anything, no right or wrong here.
There are multiple ways of learning. different resources.
Yeah. Now, these are different types of resources that we can utilize in the library. Library is not just a bound place for books and digital. It can be beyond and far beyond than that. It's up to us how do we curate and bring the resources in. The first picture talks about the guest lecturer who is here to address the children on a particular topic, and he is a human resource over here. The second picture is, a very hybrid of digital and print world. The third one is your traditional conventional libraries. Fourth one, as been rightly said, we take children to a field trip. That space in itself is a learning space. They touch, feel, interact, question, they learn together. The last one, the fifth one is the reference tools. I did not bring the indexes and patents over here. It is also a reference tool. And last one is far beyond the digital world is in AR and VR. So what I'm trying to make you understand here is resources are not just bound within books and digital. It's far beyond than what we already doing. I'm getting into the next thing. Why do we curate resources and to whom we are curating resources? We must know the purpose behind the resource curation and the end users who are going to use the resource, which will make the resource curation more meaningful and with purpose. To know that, I would like to hear out from you. What do you think is resource curation in general? And whom are you curating resources pertaining to your working profile? It can be anything. If it is a college library, if it's different, it's a public library, it's different. So think about your working space and let me know the answers to the question. 2 minutes reflection. I really want the session to be more interactive than monologue.
Yeah, Usha, can I say?
Yes, please.
So basically, what I did, like I joined this library 2 years back, and I
Okay.
found that the resources like were not organized according to the like different, because we have children from starting classes 3 to 12th, right? And the books were
Yes.
not segregated properly. So what I did was, we organized the resources according to different genres.
Right.
Initially it was difficult, but with the help of my colleague, we both of us did, and we put like shelf number on each books, because and gradually I realized that the readers are finding it interesting, because
Mhm.
they are able to locate the different genre, because nowadays they don't look for the books like majorly like author wise. They look for a different genres, like where, like, ma'am, where is mystery books, where are thriller books, where is romance. So we categorize the books, so
All
it
right.
actually became very easy for them, and they started loving the collection. So that was my purpose, to segregate the resources according to the different age groups and classes.
Okay.
I
I
think just
take it in this.
two cents of mine, Usha, over here. I
Yes.
completely agree with Taranum. I did the same thing and it's working wonder. It takes
Hmm.
time, but
Hmm.
yes, if your collection is less, I think gentrification helps a lot.
I know. Yes, once we categorize our resources and compartmentalize in the right way, it actually saves the time for the user. In another way, it helps us to visually analyze what resources are falling short, and that helps us to curate the resources further as the first place. That's why I asked you this question. You must know whom are you curating resources. This resource curation not just for students from 3 to 12 K-12. It is for the pedagogy leadership of teams as well as teachers management. If you have a remedial section working with those remedial teachers also need, and that resources should be curated according to that level. So our resource curation does not fall in to generate to our curriculum needs. It has to be go far beyond and more blending into all the levels, all the layers that has in our curriculum. That's what is all about, to know whom are we curating resources. Moving forward, the next thing is, now we know why we have to curate resources. Now we know whom are we going to curate resources. Now we should know how do we curate. We all curate resources. There's a process to do that. What I'm going to share with you right now is not a set boundaries that I'm saying this is how it has to be done, but these are the things that worked well in my profile to do my work without any trouble. That's what I'm sharing with you. If any of you agree with that, you can add points on that. If you find something more than this, please feel free to share it with us. That can help the other librarians to learn from us and to me as well. So some of the strategies I identified at the initial career stage, I also find it literally difficult to see how do I curate. It is like a jigsaw puzzles, where to fix what, how to get the clear picture out. It happens to anyone, no doubt about it. But we must know you need, identify the need. Where is the need? What's the need? To know that, we need to first start collaborating with the teachers. Then talk to your teachers informally, formally, whatever that works with you. If you have a good teacher rapport, whatever, you can make it as an informal talk also. Otherwise, you can have a periodical talk meeting, but know whether the existing resources meeting their curriculum needs. Are they able to make use of our library resources into their curriculum? Is there any falling short? Is there any back? Or do they found any other resources interesting for using without reaching out to us, or they found anything new? Such kind of data can be collected on a periodical basis, whichever that works for you, because this particular time frame differs from within one librarian to another librarian depending on their work profile, school policies, all that. It can be a weekly meeting if you have a time. It can be 3 months once. You can review the collections, collaborating with the teacher, check out those points, keep it ready while you do the resource curation. Second thing, trust me, your student voice is much better than our resource curation. They are more current and abreast what's coming on their genre out. So pick up always a conversation with your teacher. Conversation in the sense not as a formal tone. Please chat with them freely. Hey, what is the new thing that you read in the last time? Would you mind sharing with us? And they will tell you, ma'am, this is coming out. You won't believe, I don't know when the Harry Potter's last series was coming out. They came and told, ma'am, you have all the there's one more coming, six out. Please keep a watch on that. So keep always a chat with your student. So you can keep a notebook, traditional thing that works well with your school library. Keep a notebook, ask the children to drop in their collection. It need not be a book alone. It can be a web outside they would have referred. It can be a movie they watch, maybe interesting and has some connections with your collection. It can be anything. Let them put a word on that. Keep a time frame where you can review it. It is up to you, because you know your work profile, you know your free time, you know your, now, I mean, little breather gap. So try to always have a habit of reviewing this notebook and curate from that and keep the data ready. Always any curriculum, let it be CBSE, IGCSE, IB, they have a curriculum, and that has to be aligned. Our resources have to align with that. So client, always keep a review yearly once of the curriculum alignment while do the resource curation. So in terms of age appropriate books, I would suggest, everyone knows Cinderella stories, correct? Cinderella story book is available for 3 to 5 year old level book is also available. It is also available on chapter books that can be well suited with 10 to 12-year-old. And in these days, all these new books are coming in comic format, which can help the children who cannot read the continuous running sentences. I always understand our learners learn in differential learning platforms. They will not learn because everyone learns. I may be good in learning or reading and something over text. Another person may be convenient to learn through the listening skills. I'm a listening person. I keep my ears open to listen and then I respond. If you give me a book, it is very difficult for me to read. However, it's a librarian duty. We are reading that. But naturally speaking, I'm not a person who will read in pages. I can listen, I can converse it. So learning has a differential learning things are there. That's why we call it as differential learning strategies, of which listening is there, audio, video, everything matters. So try to bring age appropriate resources, aligning your curriculum, as well as bring multilingual. If a child is convenient enough to read using a different language with the support of the language teachers, it can also be brought up. In IB, there is a part called Mother Language, International Mother Language. That's on 21st February. It's a very big event. It is not just because of IB, I'm saying. Generally speaking, over 2,000 languages have been endangered, lost from the use, just because we didn't give attention to that. So just like animals extinct, language is also extinct. So to avoid that, they are bringing that. Try to understand your learner's mother language and support them. So if it is not possible to the mother language, at least to the teaching languages, if you can bring books and inculcate that, that can also be a good thing. Multimodal resources. This can be not just print, it is digital. It can be manipulatives. We would have seen our math teachers used to bring a big box with the I mean, what do you call that? Scale, protector, all these things. Those are all called as manipulatives. Nowadays, it's all available in a even more further and advanced mathematical concepts called parallelogram, right angle triangle. Even for cubes, they have different pieces. How many faces are there in the cubes? Spherical thing. So many things are in math manipulatives. So some of these publishers, I'm giving it here as KidsCon is one who's giving this wonderful math manipulatives. And as I already said, our learners are different and diverse. When we have a remedial resources, please reach out to Prayatana. Prayatana is a wonderful resource they are providing for remedial support. The resources that they are providing to help those children to do this, I have used in my previous school. That's what I'm thought I can give you these details. If you are really looking for something like that, this will help. All right. Um, I'm moving into the next session. Next slide. It's called selection and evaluation. Before we start curating resources, it is always a good practice to estimate or evaluate our existing resources. Do we have the collection well in place to meet the adequate requirements? What we need to upgrade. So if a resource is having an outdated thing, do we need to remove and add new resources in? This goes well with your reference tools. Reference tool needs to be up to date. Up to date in the sense you need not have to change it every year once, but at least 2 years or 3 years once, according to your policy that you agree with your school management. That can go on that. Besides that, check on the physical condition of the resources. If it is okay to mend and retain the resources for the next 2 years, fair enough. Otherwise, weed it out, take a new set of things in one. The interesting things about copies. What do you think, librarian, my dear friends? Do you think copies is required or not? Let me hear out from you. Do you have copies in your library collections? I'm not able to hear. Is there a problem in the audio?
Request to members to
By
not use
copies,
the
do you mean
notification.
notebooks, Usha?
No, I'm not using anything.
No, no. By copies, actually, I didn't get the question. By copies, do you want to say notebooks?
No. Even
Then,
the book titles, do you prefer more number of copies on the titles, or do you think individual titles will work? It's not note.
okay.
It's not
Okay,
notebooks.
okay. I was actually thinking, we
Yeah.
have many a times an author comes to visit a library. So
Mm.
that time, we get multiple copies of the same author. So that
Okay.
time, that way it happens, but generally we also avoid getting
Yes.
like multiple copies.
Right. Because the copies work different in college libraries, university libraries, because the copies are mandatory because they are dealing with academic, completely academic.
We
Hence,
decide on how many copies should we need.
you decide on for what kind of resources. Again, it matters. Okay, let me explain. When you decide on copies, let me say I have 500 collections in my library resource, for example, and I have 250 of which is copies. Then my collection strength is not 500, it is 251. Or, yes, it will be weakening the collection same strength if you have more copies of the same title. What I would suggest is this, if you see these two book cover pages on the right side, one is clothline clothes, do the jobs people do, and that can be anything, is also again talking about the jobs that the people do. Both are having the same concept, but the approach is different. One book is talking about the jobs of the people using their cloth, what they wear. Accordingly, it is identifying this is this person. He is a postman, he is a mailman, he is a farmer. The same thing happens in this other book also, but in a different way. So instead of getting the same title, two different copies, you can find out such kind of alternative books. It can strengthen the collections. So why I've gone for this is, when I was working in the previous library, I used to have to set up a classroom library where two sections are there, and their topic was community helpers. When I was searching for books, it was less than we ordered copies. But I did not order in copies. I ordered in such a way in different versions. So I gave in 20 books, I gave 10 here, 10 there, section A, 10, section B, 10. I asked them to exchange and use. At a time, 20 books were there for the same concept in different titles and different ways, just different culture background also. So the 20 to the 11 plus 21 children in the class read 20 books at a time without missing anything out. So this actually strengthens the collection as well as shows the quality of work that we deliver at that point. Henceforth, copies can be mindfully decided. I know we don't go for the copies, but sometimes when we need more number of books on the same concept, then we can try some different variations of the same one. So the other book, I didn't add the picture here. Whose hat is this? It is again talking about the hat the people wear. It's a policeman cap. It's a fireman cap. Honeybee collector cap. So these ways also can show the jobs people do. Again, it is in a different way of different approach of reaching out to them. That's what I'm trying to explain here. And always we discover resources, new arrivals, and stakeholders collaboration, everything. So stakeholder collaboration here, I mean, you will be already you will be in touch with teachers and students. It is also a good practice to be connecting with your coordinators if you're working with head of the schools and the school management. Take their collaboration input also into account, which will help you strengthen your resource curation practice. All right, and the much biggest hot topic is budget constraints. I know many of us sailing in the same boat. We all have a constraint while curating resources. It is very difficult when we finalize a list of resources and the management says the budget is this much, then we need to rework on that. So it is very difficult. I agree with you. Even I face the same in my early careers. It was initially was a little, I mean, unacceptable thing to me. But later I give it a thought and I worked it in such a different way. What and all I have worked out, I'm listing out here. Please feel free to add your points at this point. Prioritize within your budget constraints. So if you're working for a middle school library, then your resource curation is limited within the middle school level, like grade 6 to 8 or 9 or 10, mostly within that. But if you're working for a whole school library, I have been working with this whole school library. So when I'm curating resources, I have the responsibility to curate resources from EY to DP. I have no choice. Pre-KG to grade 12. K-12, I have to curate. So in such cases, I need to prioritize. Okay, my EY resources are very less. However, my PVP resources are healthy. Let me concentrate more on EY and give a lesser concentration of PYP this time. Maybe next time I can shift my priorities that way. In IB, if you have an authorization coming on a particular year program, then give more focus on that. See if it is there. Do we have to add more resources? Do you have to fill somewhere else? Finish that and go to the next level. So you can prioritize within the budget constraint. Prioritize within your work area. Play it well. That way you can save some budget in that. And always balance your print and digital resources. There are digital portals where you can use free and paid cost. I'm talking about the paid version first. Scholastic Digital Library is offering all their scholastic resources in online with digital, listening aid also added into that. So if you take that digital resources, each and every student will get a personal login and ID credentials to read the books in that portal. And your teachers will get a free of access to monitor their reading habit through that portal. And they can also assign books for their students. As a super admin being a librarian, you can also monitor the reading progress happening whole school. And you can also assign books. That way, part of your print is taken care of the digital side. So you can concentrate more print on different vendors and publishers. Now coming back, there's another way we can do is use book fairs. Allow book fairs to happen in your school as much as possible and take the incentives and bring the books in. Our CBT is also offering book fair proposals. They're accepting book proposals. Reach out to them. That can also work. Once in COVID-19, I have received an online book fair proposal from a publisher. If that works, if suppose this publisher is not in your station, then ask for an online thing also. See how you can liaise and get the things done so that you can get incentives through which you can get books inside also. That way you can save some budget from your budgetary limit. Keep your donation drives always open. Throughout the year, keep the donation drive and make sure the books dropped into the donation boxes are at least good enough to have 2 years of your shelf lifetime. I have seen when I open this drive, the people completely emptied their shelves and happily put it into the donation drive box. I could even see personal letters, personal diaries also. So make sure that they drop the books that is in good condition to be used in the library for future use, and give a happy appreciation note to the child who has donated this book. Even if it is a single book, it's okay. You write an appreciation letter and send it to the child. They would be happy to see that. And if possible, you can praise them in the assembly and give them a nice thing. So those rewards will get you more books inside. Before you're sitting for the curation process, try to put all these factors in place and then see what else has to be curated. Now, as I've already said, resources are not just limited to books and digital thing. It is also to an expertise talks also. So try to cater to the expert talks. This is something very much connecting to the human library concept, which is a very big concept evolved in Denmark, Copenhagen, and it's become a very big international movement. The idea of bringing this is to break the stereotypes. Instead of reading someone's life history through a book, bring that person in front of you, talk to them. It is more emotionally connecting with you. You will be able to connect with that person and know what they have run in their life, how they have overcome through personal and emotions. So instead of borrowing books in the library, you borrow their person hours for 20 minutes and make use of that productively. That's called human library concept. Whatever people we are bringing in for an expert talk is nothing but one version of human library concept. We are already into the phase. If you are doing that, please give a nice pat on your back. You're on pat. So catering expert, you start from your school itself, see who is expert on that. Maybe one may be expert in economics, one may be good in science. I have my student who's a very good expert in birds and animals. He can pinpointedly say what it is. He's an expert in that. I can call him for an expert talk during my sessions. So try to cater those things, put it into your Excel sheet, keep it as an index, keep it ready. So these are all one-time work, what you're doing, curation, getting ready, all these things, which you can conveniently apply wherever you want. Besides all these things. Still, I don't have a budget. Still, I'm finding it difficult. What are you waiting for? We are the resource now. Create a reference material with your technical support. We have enough tools available online and we have enough tutorials available. We have a librarian group to help you on that. So what you can do is you can create your own reference material with technical aid. So I have created one such resource for space debris because one of my group of students were doing it for a PBL project. They came to the library. Unfortunately, I don't have books on space debris. So I asked them, when is your due date? I started digging into the facts, put everything together. I find a nice article of John Glennin or John Glenn. As the first person who orbit the astronomy. So I found his article. I collated everything. I put it into the PPT. I ran the PPT to them, handed over the resources to the teachers, sorted. So try, create your reference material, you cut the cost, you make your management feel that you yourself is a resource person, then you don't have to find another person here. In a way, you're not stopping when the budget is not there. So when you do all these things, automatically your things fall into the budget constraint. If still something is falling apart, try to make the teacher community or others understand that will be there in the next academic year, that you need to be having your negotiating skills. That's all there. So I think I'm done with the slide. I'm moving into the next one. So since we have gone through so many things, I have identified all these resources into three different categories. One is people, other one is places, then is product. It is an IB terminology, but it fairly works with everyone. If you have your resource categorized just people resources separately, places resources separately, product resources separately, definitely you will be able to curate resources in a strategically right way. So when people, we have author talks, expert talks, the PD session that we are giving, PD session is taken from someone else. Those are all also resources. Even if you find a newsletter online about a particular thing, say for example, I have found a newsletter about chimpanzees conservation, not Jane Goodall, but somewhere else. I have read this. Those newsletters helped my PBL presentation children to go forward. So try to cater those resources and also human library as people. Coming to places, field trip, whichever place you take them to a monument, that place in itself is a resource. So that you can use. There are 360-degree views available. Those also added as a resource. Inter-school competition is a wonderful place-based kind of resources. We get to see different talents in our premises. Educational exhibit, PYPX, even when we do a small presentation, we invite schools to collaborate and see those are all resource, excursion. This reminds me of a teacher who took the children to a monument as an excursion. We were all in a puzzle. Why this teacher is taking these children to this place? It's an excursion. No, why? Then she explained this particular unit is dealing with this monument. If my to take my children, they will also enjoy the excursion as well as they will learn something meaningful and they come back. I remember when I took my children to Aircard, it is a place where they enjoy, but they learn survival skills, how to live in a nature environment, how to learn survival, how to cook, how to make our work by ourselves. Everything is a learning. The place in itself is a learning. They learn the terrain, how it works. They learn the climate, how it changes. What time the climate get the chillness? How do I handle that? All these are learning things. So you try to cater those places also, keep it in your Smithsonian Museum is the world's largest museum that has a lot of articles and other things coming up in that. You can keep a track of that if you're doing some project. So keep visiting places also. And curate, of course, products we all know, publish your catalog, book fairs online. Social medias are very powerful thing in these days. So keep a track on that and all your digital products for that reason. So this is how I do curate categories on resources into categories that help me sort the things out. Right, I'm moving to the next thing, the biggest question. When do I start the curation? So we all know how to curate. It's a very typical question. When should I start the curation? Many times it happens after the next academic year start. We're still waiting for the books and the teachers are behind us, students are behind us. So to avoid all those things, what I felt after 3 years of serious consideration, November is the right time to start your collection development drive. You can share your Excel sheet to the teachers to ask them to fill in that to teachers formally or informally, whichever way that works, remind them, close it by December 1st. I generally do that. First week and break it for Christmas holidays, come back, review it, give a next reminder to the teachers. Hey, I know you're busy. I know your plates are occupied with so many things. Still, I would like for you to take a 15 minutes of your time to fill in the sheet. This help me get quality resources for the next step. Put it in a nice way. Try to see whether you can add up. If it's not happening, jump into the action, fill in the sheet. Whatever is said and done by January, and freeze the sheet, send the proposal out, get the approval done, and send all the purchase orders out on March and get the procurement process starts. Why I am very particular about March is many inland resources will reach you very fastly. Within India, it will reach fastly. If resources that are exporting from foreign, it has to come. It will take its own time. That is not in our vendor's hand. Even when we give how much of a follow-up, the resources are there, they will be able to supply it. So conduct understanding this thing by March, if you close all these things, April, you can create your invention, you can create your lesson plans, you can break for your holidays peacefully. Again, this is a tentative thing that I worked it out. It may change. If it is have a change, please apply in your work profile as it. And I have a question. Are we curate once in a year or do we curate whenever we feel like? How does it work in your settings? Or what do you think will work? According to demand. Okay. once in a year. What if something comes in the middle of the year? What do you do then? Yes. Beginning of the year and midterm, fine. So that acts a different thing. Greetings from Mumbai, India. Okay. Right. So generally it is once in a year. Because the budget releases happens once in a year and our audit works that way only. But sometimes if there is a requirement from the teacher community that this particular resource is will be really good, try to see whether your existing color was able to support that action need. If not, try to cater to other ways like export talk, places, try to find all possible ways or create your own resources. If nothing is working out and you see that particular book is really useful without which it cannot move, then please advocate. You will know your teachers will stand by your side if you do that. And tell your management this is the book that we will need without which this particular inquiry or a concept cannot be taught. It needs to be laid. And it's all from the teacher's end. So you try to advocate for such priority-based qualifying resources alone, do not go for anything else. So keep that in mind. So yes, of course, we do curate once in a year. There are places where we find such interesting resources which we may not able to find at the time of curation period. It is okay to in the middle of the year, but still advocate in such a way, put your supporting evidences documents accordingly and try to get the work done. You would see the wonderful support that you get from your teacher community. Having said that, I'm moving into the next question. When doing this, I found this can be a librarian mindset, need not be limiting to this. There are 5 attributes I saw. Whenever you bring your proposal to the management, have you ever come across this question? I have given you these resources in the last year. What are you doing with the resources? How many of you heard this? Because I heard this in my early career. Hence, I'm asking you. Yes? The resources are there. Are you utilizing that? No one? Yeah, I heard this in MRF when I'm working with that. Manage. When I was sending, actually, they are people don't go by our resource. There are people who get into the tire standard. So that goes once in a 2 year because it's European currency have to be paid. I was joined there for the very first month. I'm sending this as per instruction, but it was in a note. Please utilize this resources wise and well. Okay. So what happens here is they really don't know what's going on in the library with that resources. That's a problem here. There's a gap between the library activities and the management. Try to bridge that up. So whenever you utilize that resources for a particular activity, try to take a pic if possible. I admire Maitri Iyengar for this reason because her pictures will have the smiley on the student's face and she post it. And abiding to the policies that the school have. If you really don't have the access to take the pictures of the students, take the work of the student, document it. Even you ask your teachers who borrow the resources for a particular thing, hey, what it happened? Does it go well? What is your comments about it? Take that testimonial, keep it ready. When there is a question, see, you have given me these resources, these are the work happened, these are the impact happened, these are the evidences. Close. That point is sorted. And negotiating skills, as I already said, it is not just connected with the external stakeholders, it is also internally to negotiate. If there is a book that you could not get it in this budgetary thing, try to convince the teacher, hey, I'm sorry, this is not happening this time, but still I'll manage to get a book, a resource that can meet this budget. So try working to that. Do not argue, get a negotiating skills, negotiating conversations to see how you can get the work done. That way it is that. So we as librarians definitely fall into conflict resolution because we are between management and teacher community. It's very possible. Teacher will ask, management will deny, so we will end up. So whenever there is a conflict, try to resolve it, bring an amicable environment. If you face something is heated up conversation, try to pick up a chat and explain them what happened or try to understand what went wrong, resolve it because without teachers support, it is very difficult to navigate in our face because our libraries are not meant for us, it's for teachers, it's for students, it's for the pedagogy, it all matters. So this conflict will not only affect your profile, it also affects the student learning engagement and teacher progression. On the whole, it affects the banner as well. Try always keep your banner in the first place. You will definitely resolve the conflict. Always bring a peace in your work, not conflict. And inclusive team spirit, I would advocate for a simple reason. Many times we librarians feel left out in the work. We feel that, oh, I'm doing so much, but I'm not included. Try to include yourself into the team because you're part of the team. You're not alone. Librarian is part of every single unit that works into the school. If MIP is working, you're part of MIP. If POP is working, you're part of POP. If the whole school is working, you're part of the whole school. You're no way left out. It has to go on hand on hand. So don't ever feel that you're left out. You're inclusive. You initiate that steps to be inclusive. Try to conversate with your teachers. Hey, what's happening in your lesson plan? Is the resources going well? Pick up an informal conversation. Try to build up that relationship. It works well. When I was working in my previous school library, my coordinator called me, Usha, come up. I'm having a meeting with the teachers. I went up. She asked me, what are you doing? I said, I'm working on something. She turned to the teacher, do you know your librarian said this to me? She told that my teachers need these resources for this. And she specifically mentioned my teachers. When you say it is my teachers and for my school, the teachers will also belong to you. When we want some change to happen, my dear librarians, try to incorporate the change in within you first and then execute it to the others. It will definitely work. And all these things together will have to have a wonderful stakeholder relationship that includes your pedagogy team, external, internal stakeholder relationship. Maintain it well to get your work easy. So that way you can, those are the things should be the librarian mindset that will make your life as easy as possible. And to do all these things, definitely we are completely going hand on hand with our knowledge enhancement partners. And we have a list of publishers which we are working fairly with everyone. Of course, our spotlight today is Central Book Publishers. I would like to take you to their website. Tell me if their website is visible to you. I'm taking to the next screen. Just give your thumbs up if it is visible to you. So if you go to the website, they have their own gallery. Please click that gallery. It has a complete details of the website. This gentleman is called the founder of this organization, founder K. Shankar Pillai, very high respected person. And this is their children library. They have their own library setup. And whoever already knows, please overlook this thing. For new beginners who don't know about this, I'm giving a brief introduction. And they have a dolls museum functioning. They're also giving a dolls workshop, how to make dolls. They also book an illustrator session that's also running, and I think it's in the evening. And they also do writers competition. Besides that, they have a set of downloads where you can go and download the brochures. They also publish Children Word magazine. It's a wonderful magazine to have in your library. And they also conduct book fairs in their premises. Please reach out to them if you have one in your mind. Book your slot right now. And if you come to the contact us, you have the details to contact and the location. If you're put up in the same location, call New Delhi. If you're in a different location, email them and find out which is a convenient time for them to talk. Right. So I have also found one of this called Oak Tree Books. She's not a vendor. She's not a professional vendor. She's passionate about books. And her Instagram pages are very famous, and her books curation, you must see, amazing curation. She's just now putting her photos here. Earlier it wasn't there. If you take her book, you could see the inside of the book. She will put the pages here, and she'll give her the details of the book completely here that can help you decide whether do we need this book, is that meeting the age. Somebody said, how do I decide? And this will help you understand. She is giving the age here. Since she is not a professional vendor, her percentage of discount will be very less. Maybe you can collect the details from here and can reach out to your regular vendor to the supply of these books. So this page will be helpful. I will share you the links at the end of this thing in your chat box, or any other ways that you want, I can do that. So that's all about the knowledge enhancement partners, because I'm very much impressed. This is suggested by one of the teaching faculty to me when we were having a discussion with regarding resource curation. We are mad of books. The moment I get the box in, she's the first person to come and sit with me to open and see what are the books available. So that kind of thing. And before we close to the end of the thing, we have certain vendor details pan India that start from our trusted partner at the moment, CBT, Scholastic India, Books at Campus. He's a vendor, not a publisher. Kids Today, Book Lounge. And you all know retails Tulika. Ekalavya is meant for Hindi things. Oxford, UP and CUP are for academic books. And Tara, Pratham, there is only one constraint I faced. I think you will also face. The editions keep changing 24 hours once. So if you want the collection to be taken, what you see on that particular day, within 48 hours, you have to do the payment. So see how you can do it. Gabriel Books is something I come across in my previous career. It's called playing with them. They shut down their business and they moved annexed it with Gabriel Books. For magazines, Vinayaka Magazines and my subs, thanks to the librarian team for getting me these details. There's only one thing I would suggest if you're subscribing to foreign magazines, make sure it is paid through wire transfer or some other mode because card transaction like credit card, this gentleman has paid and took money from us, but very unfortunate, they were not able to realize the card payment. We faced issues. What happens is you will get the access, but you will not be able to get the current edition. You will be able to look into the archives till the card is realized. That's the only constraint. Otherwise, they can able to do within national level whatever magazines you are in need. Both Vinayaka and MySubs can do it for you. Terry Press is suggested by one of my head of the school, and it talks about environment, energy, and sustainable development. They also have magazines and journals released that goes well with middle school and high school level, which will be useful for DP level resources. You may make a note of it if you want one. And online tools, of course, without online tools, we survive. Internet Archive, EPIC, you all know. Make a note of this Environmental Protection Agency USA. This is this particular thing I browsed while I was doing a lesson plan for my grade 3 students. It works well with to that age level. The data, the information is to that level. And National Digital Library is our national project. NCDL, National Children Digital Library, is international digital library setup where you have books free to read, open and read. That can be done, no charges for that. Kids Health is an again interesting website I found when I was doing my lesson plan. It deals with human body systems. That's in IB we call as who we are and which human body systems for that because it has an interactive video games. Through the games, they are teaching the body functionalities, simple facts, and all these things. The kids find it interesting to play and learn. So that way, this is a good resource. And YouTube videos, of course, we all do that. And when it comes to paid resources, we have Scholastic Digital Library, as I already said. The best thing is they have the listening part also. You can enable the listening if the child don't want to read. I want to listen and read, it will have. They have a trivia questions on each and every book. And the end of the thing, they have a reflection thing. So you can simply assign the book and see the reflections in the next class. Or you can open the book, read it together, do the reflections. Whichever way it works, teachers, students, it's a wonderful resource to start with for primary till middle school to some extent. They have TrueFlix, BookFlix. BookFlix has wonderful interactive videos for concept-based. But again, it is all student-based subscription. Why I'm suggesting you this is the individual login credentials that the students are given into student's account. It will not fall into library budget. Students are going to pay for each and every individual login credentials. Teachers are free access. Super admin library will also get it as a free access. So in a way, in a budget, you save a lion's share of thing. Okay. British Council Digital Libraries no more than 3,000 bucks. It also embeds EBSCO and JSTOR into that. However, I would suggest you to explore that to see what is the restrictions because EBSCO and JSTOR generally it costs you more. British Council Digital Library, they are embedding into that. But however, you have to explore and see. If it is working fine, then within 3,000 bucks, everything inside to get. But you need to take multiple access for your digital library setup because that suits with the middle high grade student, higher school students like the DP level it is. So if you really don't mind, go for a small curation list of resources based on the strategies that we learned. You can take anything from the genre, curriculum alignment, skills-based reading challenge, pleasure reading, whatever that you feel at the moment that you could curate. In 5 minutes, we will close. You can put it in the chat box. It's a fun actually. I love curating resources. I'll ready to spend hours together on that, but still, let's see whether you will be able to make at least 2 resources. That should be fine. You can use Octree books, you can use CBT. Yes, as Kuntal said, please fill in this Google form to receive your certificate, and please add your names as you want to receive. You will find maybe if there is a spelling mistake, it's difficult. So try to fill in your things properly there. Okay, so if really doing that curation, okay, shall I move into the next slide then?
I think, yeah, because
At the end of the session, I understand. Right. So you have any questions and then small feedback thing that you already given, so we can close it on time. Any questions?
I think
Thank
there's a
you.
lot of clarity with your session,
A
Usha.
lot of clarity. I really don't hear anyone else speaking, so I'm really not sure whether I'm on track.
I think it was really wonderful session, and I think a lot of things got clear. And curation, it becomes very important in this time. I mean, we're
Yes.
struggling with
Where to start, where to end. Then we start in the right strategy, it will take you to the right process. And starting placing orders or getting the proposals on time will save your, I mean, innovation time. Basically, we fall there. There is a catch. If you do miss this, you will fall there. So that's the thing. So yes, if you really have any questions you think did not address, that is not overlooked, I'm ready to answer here. Or you can write back to me also. I'm happy to help you out if you really need one.
and everybody started thinking, how do I curate or recurate?
I would like to help them. That's what I said. My passion is curation. And I realized it in the
Many a times it happens that we think that, oh, this is the book I like, but as a librarian, we don't have to think what we like, what is our users thinking, or what the
But
users
sometimes
want to read.
what happens, Kuntal, that one book can be meeting different needs that are also there. So
Exactly.
we really need to see how we can fit in with the same resource and
Yeah.
bring the budget down.
I mean, and the mantra is knowing our users. The way
Yes, you know
our,
the users, exactly.
our curation is in
Maybe
the
I can
way.
come up with a different session how you can use a particular book for different needs. That can also be helpful.
I
I'm
think
happy.
everybody has a lot of clarity. And so,
I'm happy. If you have a clarity, I'm happy. If you want one that I need to answer, that I'm doing that. If not, we are done with the session.
okay, is there a question? Okay, if the school decides to procure only books of literary content and not add up to the curriculum, how can I convince them? It's from Dipti.
School decides to procure only books of literary content and not add up to the curriculum. Even a literary content, you can see whether it meets the curriculum needs. For example, if I say you a jungle book, everybody knows Rudyard Kipling, Jungle Book. If your curriculum is talking about governance, there is a small information how the governance happens in Jungle Book. Because how the Sher Khan threat this wolf pack is, they are meeting, they are organizedly conducting the meeting, they are taking a decision, they're following the rules. All this can be making use of that. Um, I really wanted to, yeah, I really wanted to what it meant to be a curriculum. You're talking about the academic books. If you're talking about academic books, then it needs to be clarified with the management because sometimes this academic books will be taken by the admin department. I'll tell you with a small information, Kuntal. I'll close with this.
No
Okay,
worries. Yeah.
I was curating resources in the previous school. The first year when my coordinator said, we're getting a bigger library, Usha, you yeah, curate all the books, you send me the list, I'll get an approval. We got approval, we got the books. When we sent the bills out for the payment, the accounts head said, this big budget you have given and all falls into the library head. I took that into and then I worked it out. Hello, I'm sorry to tell you, these are the resources for library, these are the resources for teachers, and these are the resources for students, and these are the resources for this purpose. So library budget is very less. And these are for. Then this gentleman came back and said, why don't you, Usha ma'am, give me the budget, what you're going to procure in the next academic year. I can add that into the students' fee structure itself so that it is sorted over there. So all that matters, you pick up a conversation and see how does this work. Because the previous school is a trust-based school. All the fees, what they collect goes into the trust and then it disseminates to different schools that works under the umbrella. So the gentleman who is sitting over there is also facing a pressure from the audit. Every time the audit rules keeps changing and we cannot help it out. So always try to understand from others' perspective also and try to work out what can be done. It actually saves your time and pieces in, and you know what to be done, what not to be done.
I
Try to
think,
bring a solution out, it's all sorted.
yeah,
So
I
if you
think,
add that into
um,
the student space, you are sorted, basically. So that's how it works.
I think that was wonderful, Usha. And yeah, thank you so much. A lot of queries and questions on curation were resolved by our speaker, Usha, today. And thanks again to Central Book for bringing this wonderful sessions for our librarians where we can really upskill ourselves. So
Oh,
one more time, a request to please fill in the form. The feedback always helps to grow. Feedback always helps to improve. It's always good to get a perspective, and that's how we can improve. So thank you everyone. Please click on the form and you can we can close this meeting and you can fill the form. And as we tell, we'll ask students that you do this, you get this. So is the you feedback, you get certificates. So
thank you,
yes,
everyone. Yes,
thank
thank you.
you. Have a wonderful weekend and have a lovely evening. Thank you so much. And yes, we would
Yes.
end the meeting over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Kuntal. Thank you, everyone, for your love and support.
Thank you,
We'll
Usha. We close.
we'll close. I'll leave the meeting now.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.